Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. We good. Want to give all honor, praise, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of His begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shah, Hamashiach. Today's lesson, we're going to go into reincarnation, or basically like breaking down the perspective according to the Bible of what reincarnation is, because you have reincarnation being used for different religious groups and sects and different nations. They're dealing with it differently, so I'm going to briefly go into, from a biblical perspective, what reincarnation is talking about. And reincarnation is found in the Bible, right? Now you have some practices in Buddhism, East Indian tradition, that they believe that, when you die, based on karma and the way that you lived your life, you're going to be reincarnated into a different animal, or you being reincarnated to different things depending on how you lived your life. And then, they base it on senses. So, if you got 4 senses, you're a spider, you come back as a grasshopper. If you got 3 senses, you're an ant, you come back as a water bug or something. If you're a worm, you come back as a seashell. And if you're 5 senses, if you're a person, you come back as an elephant or a chicken or a dog or a cat. So we're not dealing with none of that, right? I believe there's a certain scripture that kind of deals with that too, if I could find it really quickly, going off the topic. I think it goes beasts are for beasts. Let me see if this scripture deals with this topic. I forgot. It just popped up in my head right now. Like the spirit of an animal, different place. For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts. Each one of them as of dieth. So yeah, they have one breath and a man. Okay, that's a different topic there. So, alright, we're just gonna start out here. So when dealing with the soul and the spirit, just to have understanding, a spirit becomes a soul when it inhabits the body. So once your spirit goes into your body, your soul is your consciousness. So it's like the spirit inhabits the body, it becomes the soul. The soul is your consciousness, your state of being in the body, just to get an understanding. So your soul is when your spirit inhabits your body, / your consciousness is your soul. Your soul being tormented means you're a living body having your consciousness tormented, right? Just to get an understanding on spirit and soul. So let's go to 2nd Ezra, the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14, verse 35. For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again, and then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. So after judgment comes, we live, we die, we get a judgment, and then we live again. We come back on the earth again, and we carry out the judgment based off of the life that we lived before, right? And the works of the ungodly shall be declared. So I wrote a note here. We aren't dealing with reincarnation in a way such as an East Indian believes that you can come back as a butterfly or a tree or an animal. Basically, we live our life. The Most High declares a judgment, and we come back to the earth and live out that judgment in a physical body. So, we got different parables. You got the blind man, the man who was born blind. You got, those who, even if you think about it like this, a judgment on the nation of Israel was the different captivities that the nation of Israel went through. So why are the children of Israel being judged and placed into captivity based on what their foreparents did? Is because we keep coming back in a regeneration, so we're living out those judgments. Even the transatlantic slave trade, even when the Native Americans got slaughtered, these are different judgments that the Most High is carrying out on us based on the lives that we lived before. and we get judged as a nation, and we get judged individually as well. So continuing on, the book of Second Ezra, chapter 15, verse 42. And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring, like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first. So basically, the Most High saying that judgment comes like unto a ring. So you could compare that to, like how people understand karma. You reap what you sow. The judgments that are going to be carried out on you are based on the things that you do. So what goes around comes around. The judgment is likened unto a ring. That's how the Most High deals with things, right? And I wrote a note here. Speaking of death, we go to Job 3 and 17 through 19. So verse 17, there the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. There the prisoners rest together, they hear not the voice of the oppressor. The small and great are there, the servant is free from his master. So this is a parable dealing with the grave, death. So these are things that no matter what, the righteous and the wicked, they both rest when they're dead. You know what I'm saying? When you pass away, you're at rest. Both the wicked and the great, they both rest at death. And then they get judged, and then they come back on the earth to carry out a judgment. Numbers 14 and 18. The Lord is long suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. So the Most High is not gonna, the Most High is very forgiving. It was a point where he was gonna, disregard the northern kingdom and cut off the southern kingdom, but the Most High has mercy. So the Most High revisits. Look, it says, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. So the Most High's judgment is going back multiple generations, because he judges us as a nation and also individually. So that's just reestablishing the point. Malachi 4 and 5. Behold, I will send you, and this is just showing an example of someone who was living at one point and came back as somebody in another point. Malachi 4 and 5, behold, I will send you Elijah, or Elias, right? Elijah the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. So the day of the Lord is a specific time, right? Before that time. So it says in Malachi that the Most High is gonna send Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. So we go to Matthew 11 and 12 through 15. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. For all the prophets and the law prophesies until John. And if ye will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come. He that have ears to hear, let him hear. So basically what's being said is, this is basically quoting the Malachi 4 and 5 scripture. The Malachi 4 and 5 says, scripture says Elijah was going to be sent. And then it talks about here from the days of John the Baptist, that basically that John the Baptist is Elias, that who is to come, right? And it's saying, for he who has ears to hear, let him hear. And another scripture I was going to bring out was this one. Why thou speakest in parables. This was something I wanted to add onto this, and it slipped my mind earlier. And I'm going to add this to the build also, because you have to understand, like, the scripture is written in a big parable as well. Let's see this real quick. Understand how it can be converted. So we're going to deal with this Matthew 13:10. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. So basically, the understanding is spiritual. Certain people will be able to understand these things, and other people who it wasn't meant to be given to will not understand. For whosoever hath to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall it be taken away, even that he hath. Therefore speak I unto them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which saith, By hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and not perceive. So that basically breaks down the point. Certain people are going to be hearing this word, but they're not really going to hear this word. They're going to, disregard it, or they won't be able to understand the word. But those who the Most High is dealing with, those are going to be the people who understand and be able to break down this word. I want to add that to the build. So that's an important thing to note, and I wanted to add that in there. So Christ singled out John the Baptist because technically anyone can come in the spirit of Elijah reiterating his word. So we go into the books where Elijah spoke, and I start spitting out and teaching the things that Elijah said. I will be coming in the spirit of Elijah too. But specifically, Christ singled out John the Baptist because Christ knew that John the Baptist was Elijah coming back in the flesh as well. So Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that has been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, See, this is new? It hath already been of old time, which was before us. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of the things that are to come with those that shall come after. So and when we come back in a different body, we're not going to remember the former things that happened in our life. You know what I'm saying? And these things, the things that we're doing now, they were already done in the old time, in a different form or fashion, but they were done in the old time. So that we wouldn't remember the former things. That's what I wanted to highlight here. And now we're going to Matthew 16:13. When Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, which is which was in Jerusalem, right? A city in Jerusalem, he asked his disciples, saying, Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? And they said, Some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elias, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. He say unto them, But whom say ye that I am? And Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood have not revealed it unto me, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And when you look at this word Peter, I had it highlighted over here. The word Peter means rock, right? So that's a parable. Remember, Christ spoke in parables when, first of all, when we understand in the scriptures, a lot of the names in the scriptures, they have a deeper meaning to them. And then through the name of the person in the scriptures, we'll be able to understand what, their mission was and what they went through. So Peter was the rock, and it doesn't mean like a literal rock. It's like a figurative rock. And the rock of Peter is the foundation where Christ established his church. So it's not talking about a literal building, and it's not talking about a literal rock. Peter was the foundation, and Christ, through Peter's message and through Christ's inspiration, Peter established the churches, and they went and taught in the highways and byways. The gates of hell shall not prevail against it. That means death will not prevail against it. That means even after Peter passed, the church continued on. And the coast of Libya. So that was the point to be established, the reincarnation. We come back and we live out the judgments based on the life that we live. And with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. That's all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of his begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And shalom.